Mr. Chairman, Hillhead Residents Association is strongly opposed to the development of 150 houses to the west of Wall Street. We are well aware of the huge pressure that central government's putting on local authorities to build more houses. But as that pressure comes on, so it becomes ever more important to put those houses in the right place. We believe that this site, bordering on Titchfield Haven, is not the right place for a housing estate. The Haven is a treasure. It's a national nature reserve, a special protection area, a site of special scientific interest, and a Ramsar site, a wetland site recognised as being of international importance. It's well worth protecting. Our main grounds for objection are based on the current local plan. The Secretary of State, Sajid Javid, said recently, local plans are essential because they provide clarity to communities and developers where homes should be built and where not, so that the development is planned rather than the result of speculative applications such as this. Please note that, in passing, that this is a discounted site in the 2017 SHLA. But in the current Fair and Local Plan in 2011, we see Policy CS14, built development on land outside the defined settlements, which this is, will be strictly controlled to protect the countryside from development which would adversely affect its landscape, character, appearance and function. Development sites in Policy DSP6 states there will be a presumption against new residential development outside the defined urban settlement boundary. And Policy CS22 says the same about development in the strategic gaps. The National Planning Policy Framework, Para 109, states that planning systems should protect and enhance valued landscape, and the landscape of the Meon Valley is recognised as a defining feature of Fareham Borough. To build 150 houses in such a prominent position would be very damaging to that landscape. The density of the proposed development would be 2 or 3 times that in Old Street and Knightsbank Road. That would be contrary to Policy CS17, as it would not respect the context of the urban area. The application could nonetheless be permitted if it could pass 5 tests under Policy DSP 40. However, it fails on design, adverse impact on the countryside and the strategic gap, and it also fails the transport and road requirements of the Highways Authority. In our view, the planning status of the proposed development site is clear. It should not be built on. Finally, the Residents' Association was appalled at the horse trading over measures of mitigation and Hampshire's offer to withdraw their objection for the right price. The Hampshire and Isle of Wight Wildlife Trust owns the top third of the reserve, and they oppose the development, but they were not even mentioned. Natural England and Hampshire's Countryside Department, by their actions, implicitly accept the development. Thus, 2 organisations that should be looking after the best interests of wildlife are in fact looking after the interests of their own organisations. We therefore ask Mr Barry Duffin, who has 40 years professional experience at Titchfield Haven, latterly as the warden, to speak for the wildlife. We request you refuse this application.